Now, I've discovered in my life personally, one of the biggest obstacles that I've overcome, a certain way to explain it, is that of some pretty intense mental noise. I wanted to make this video because I see a lot of people out there being tortured by their own minds, tortured, absolutely betrayed. And I'm making this video because I know what it's like and because I've been there too. And out of all the obstacles I've kind of gone through and all the challenges that I've explored in my life theme so far, dealing with that mental noise has been what I would say is the obstacle, the challenge that has helped me to be more powerful than any of the other challenges. You see, there's a lot of different things that we go through in our life that help us to learn things about ourselves. And I know that most people here in this community, you guys have chosen to use everything that happens for you in your life as a positive, using it for you to have some good momentum, to learn, to grow, to realize more of who you are. And so I wanted to reflect that. To me, what has caused me to learn more about who I am is actually learning how to kind of deal with this mental noise. So I want to make this video to help anybody out there and to share from my perspective about, mental noise. So if you experience, I think a lot of people can relate to having had this happen at least once in their lives. You're going to go to bed. It's a pretty common theme. People go to bed, usually daily. And if you're laying there in bed and you are like ready to go to sleep, but all of a sudden your mind chimes in, you start thinking about all kinds of things, this, that, this, that. Well, what I'd like to share with you in this video is that not only does that happen at nighttime, as you know, but it's actually happening all throughout our day. You ever notice how there's this part of you that kind of just likes to narrate everything that's happening? Everywhere you go, there's a narration. It's like you're like a scientist analyzing everything all of the time. Now, what I've discovered is that based on who you are and what your focus has been in your life and the experiences that you've attracted to yourself, it's likely that the voice and the things that are being spoken in your mind are a little bit different than mine. Most likely. And also because of the law of attraction, I think probably a lot of people here, we think about similar things. Law of attraction, pretty cool. But the idea is that you're always kind of thinking. There's always these processes happening. And what I'd like to reflect to you in this video is that what I'm about to share with you can help you to learn how to set that incessant, constant noise down. And what I'd like you to understand first and foremost about this is that most people, and what I discovered in my spiritual journey, I ended up attracting a lot of people based on the vibe that I was putting out. It was always me. Attracted a lot of people basically suggesting to me that like I become like a serious meditator and leave all my possessions and desires behind and, go to India and live in an ashram. And while this is certainly a path for many people, I'd like to reflect to you that we live in a really amazing time right now where there are so many things to take part in and there's so many people to interact with. And I want to let you know that I've discovered you don't have to shave your head and give up all of your possessions to find peace within yourself. It turns out you don't. And I didn't know that for a while, so I was forcing myself into that box. And what I actually ended up doing was creating even more noise and a experience that is not in alignment with what I'm personally interested in experiencing. I am interested in being part of society and interacting with people and exploring all of the things that exist in this day and age. So that's me. And if you're like that too, and you want to stay in society and you want to keep living your job and you want to interact with people and you want to build relationships and you want to be able to afford the things for yourself that you want in life, and you don't want to decide that you have to push everything away to be spiritual, well, I want to express to you that everything in life, everything is spiritual by nature. Everything is. Because everything is you. It's all this energy and this non-physical part of yourself that many people refer to as God, source. And what I'd like to express and share with you is that everything, all of the desires, all the people you interact with, all the objects, all of it, it's all spiritual. There is nothing that is not spiritual. even pain, challenge, even somebody being rude to you and saying nasty things to you one day, I'd like to share with you that that is spiritual in nature. And the only reason it doesn't seem that way is because a lot of us are allowing our mind noise to drive our reality. We're allowing the noise and this momentum that's built in our mind to drive our realities. Now, let's just get straight into this. How can you achieve better peace within yourself and get to a place where your mind isn't like just, God, just being such a raging bully all the time? Well, it starts by acknowledging and accepting something that will allow you to take your power back. And what that is understanding that you are the creator of that experience. That's first and foremost, you have to be willing to take responsibility. Now, responsibility, a lot of people are confused about responsibility. People think responsibility is something that means you have to do something because it's like morally an obligation. That's not what responsibility is. Responsibility is the ability to respond to things. So you have responsibility in every single moment in the sense that you have the ability to respond in the way that you choose to. And based on the way that you've been responding things up to this point in your life, you have built a kind of momentum where your thoughts and your feelings and the experiences you have are kind of this unfolding wheel where a lot of us are creating unconsciously our experience. Whereas people aren't deliberately focusing on what do I want to experience today and tomorrow. People aren't deliberately focusing at all. People just wake up. Obviously, I'm doing a gross generalization of people, but people just wake up. They just go along with their same routine that they did yesterday. They think about mostly the same thoughts. There was a cool study I saw a few years ago. It's a few years ago. I can't quote you what it was, but they stated that essentially people think like it was like 60% of the things that go through your mind each day are things that you've thought millions of times already. So people aren't even having very many original thoughts. They're just regurgitating the same days over and over again. Same routines, same foods. So I'd like to emphasize that what you are currently experiencing with your mind, mental noise, and what you're experiencing in your reality are a direct reflection of what you have been using your power to focus on. And this is what you've created up to this point. Now, if you don't want to experience that anymore, that's all I have to say about that, then you have to choose not to. It's the only way it's going to happen for you. You have to choose. You have to understand that you are the creator of the experience. You have to stop giving your power to, I feel horrible because I live here. I feel horrible and I think all these nasty things because people are rude. People don't care. There's no compassion in this world. I feel this way because I can't afford to eat the things I want to eat. You see what I'm saying? You need to understand that that's not why you feel bad. Those situations that you're experiencing that cause you to think even more negatively and spiral in this way in your mind and create all this noise, the reason that that noise exists is actually because of the creation that you have created. And you can step out of that loop. And that's what I'm going to share with you how to do in this video, how to step out of that loop. Number one, a lot of people in the spiritual expedition here come to a place of attraction where they find lots of information about meditation and being the observer and being neutral and kind of silencing the mind. So what I'd like to reflect to you as someone who's been through that and gone through a lot of different things, I'd like to express this differently. Don't silence your mind. Your mind is an extremely powerful tool, which, by the way, one of the biggest reason our being who we really are has chosen to manifest as you is because of your mind, because your mind is a very powerful tool. Abraham explains this as being on the leading edge of thought, you see. Now, what I've experienced is that we are like an ocean, and this is something I've discovered from looking within myself. We are like an ocean, and right now we're on the surface reality, and we're kind of poking our heads up above water. And basically, that's this reality. And our external reality is like you looking up above the water. So when people want to experience change in their lives, they end up slapping the water, slapping the surface of the water, trying to create waves, but it doesn't work that way. You have to reach deep within yourself, which is where the true power of creation comes. Yes, this is the reality you're experiencing and perceiving, but there is a much deeper reality within yourself, right? So like another thing I'll throw out there, a lot of people talk about the higher self. I understand what people mean by this, and most people get it too. But I would say that a better word than higher self is inner self, inner being, because higher self implies that it's higher, out there, it's up there, up in the universe, but it's not. All the answers you're looking for are not out there, they're always within you. So by meditating and by experiencing a more peaceful mind, not silenced mind, peaceful, you'll be able to experience the gift that is the mind. So I want everybody to know that pushing your mind away when you have thoughts come up that you don't like, trying to shove it away and saying that that's bad and I don't want to experience that, you are kind of stepping out of alignment with source, who you really are, that inner being. Because who you really are wants to be here because of the mind. The mind is extremely powerful. It's really cool. The ability that it gives us to explore reality and to focus on things and to attract things to ourselves in this surface above the water dimension, it's unfathomably cool. It's so cool. It's not like this anywhere else. So that's why you're here. So don't push your mind away. Don't hate your brain. And actually, I'd like you to understand that the more you do that, the more you have thoughts you don't like and you get mad at yourself and you're like, oh, I heard that I'm supposed to feel good to attract the good things to myself. So you get mad on yourself and you hate on yourself when you think negative things. All you're doing is creating that spiral of a momentum. So what you want to do when a thought comes up, it's very simple. This is basically the essence of meditation, all right? No, I'm not a meditation master and I would never present myself as one, but I have discovered something that's absolutely liberated me and helped me to feel just confidence isn't even the right word. I'm just like absolutely certain in who I am and my ability to experience whatever I want to experience. And I've been nailing it. So that's where I'm coming from with this, just to be clear with you. It's simple. When a thought comes up, you don't think anything about that thought. See, because what a lot of times happens is you think something like you have this random thought that, oh, my coworker said this negative thing. This is just random example, okay? And then you choose to have another thought about that thought, right? So you say, I didn't like the way that made me feel. That's your next thought. And then you start thinking other times that people said negative things. And then you start thinking, you see what I'm saying? It becomes this chain of events. Think of it as like this linear chain. So the idea is to not think something about the thought. Don't force the thought down. Don't try to form some kind of opinion about the thought. You don't say the thought is good or bad. You don't label it as anything. The idea is to just watch. When the thought pops up, you don't attach to it. You see, you've probably heard a lot of people say that. I hope I've explained it in a way that helps you to understand why that is what people are saying. Is because when you attach to a thought and you start thinking about it and identifying with it, then what literally happens is you create this chain. And what ends up happening is you build so much momentum, you start building this energy within your mind where it's natural because of law of attraction that you will continue thinking the same things. And the more you think about one thing, whatever you're thinking about, understand it has a vibrational essence to it. We live in a vibrational reality. I want you to understand again that we are the entire ocean. And so we create from within. We emanate these vibrations from within that bloom into reality and create our entire experience. So everything is vibrational in nature. Everything is spiritual in nature. And what I want to reflect to you is simply that when you are focusing on things and you think about a certain subject for a repeated period of time, you end up thinking more thoughts about it, more thoughts about it, more thoughts about it. You experience it in the physical reality as that chain. You think a thought about that thought and then you think another. But vibrationally speaking, what ends up happening is you attract in the universe, in our experience here, you attract more thoughts to you that vibrate and are a vibrational match to what you're thinking about. So if you think negative things, all you're going to do is attract more negative thoughts. If you think a lot of negative thoughts for a long enough period of time, you'll do that long enough that you'll be able to see negative events manifesting in your life. Why is this? Well, imagine a cup of water. Again, you're experiencing the surface of that cup of water. Imagine you have like one of those tube things where you can basically scratch that. A cup of water, you're at the surface of the water, and imagine a food coloring dye is released at the bottom of the cup. Let's say it's green. As soon as you desire something, as soon as you ask for something, the universe responds because you are the universe. That response comes from within. At the very bottom, the first layer of who you are is where creation emanates from. That's where the vibrations erupt into reality. So that coloring, understand that it is immediately released, but that it takes a little bit of time for the coloring to spread and color the entire water for you to be able to see it on the surface. You see what we're saying? So what ends up happening is a lot of people, what they end up doing without realizing it, is they say, I want to be successful. This is a common one. So let's say that's the color green. So as soon as you say, I want to be successful, green is released in the bottom of the cup. Now, if you just waited and you thought about success long enough and you maintained that vibration, then you would see that the entire ocean that you are is colored in success. And you would see it would reach the surface and suddenly you'd get to experience it. You see, you'd say, oh my God, I'm successful. Look at all these successful manifestations. But what most people do is they hold the vibration of success for like, I don't know, 2 days. And then they wake up in the morning and something happens. Maybe it's a rainy day. Your partner says something rude. I don't know. Something didn't go well. And so people start panicking and freaking out and getting frustrated and say, where's my success? Where's my success? And what I'd like for you to understand is that if you were just patient and waited and maintained that vibration, you would eventually see it reach the surface reality that you're experiencing externally, you see? But what ends up happening is that within yourself, when you immediately freak out and you start being frustrated, you stop putting out the green color and instead you start putting out blue. And most people in reality are way more willing to hold the vibration of frustration, success, negativity, lack of control. Most people are willing to hold that vibration long enough to see that manifest on the surface, but it's a very few people who exist on the surface of who we are right now in this dimension, in this reality, who are willing to hold the vibration of well-being and goodness and success long enough to see it bloom in every crack and crevice of who you are. So, moving forwards, I hope this gives you a little bit of a better understanding of the power of your mind and the power of your vibration. So if you're experiencing a momentum where you've got all these thoughts and things going on that are not what you prefer to experience and they just bother you, and understand that you can probably reflect to a time in your life, at least a week-long period, where you felt really good and were thinking really good things. Maybe everything was going really well that week, and so you felt really appreciative and you kept thinking, wow, I'm doing so awesome. Everything's going so well for me, right? And understand that when you felt that vibration, you attracted many positive experiences to yourself because you maintained that vibrational state long enough to see it actually bloom into reality. But what people are doing on accident is that they are basically allowing themselves to feel good when certain things happen externally that make them feel good, right? This really good thing happened at work, therefore I will allow myself to feel good right now. But do you see how backwards that is? When you see that what you're putting out, what you're feeling from within, what you're focused on, you focus on it long enough and it comes to reality. So if you're waiting to find your good feeling on the surface, I'd like for you to understand you're not going to find it. You might find it here and there, but it's fleeting. It's going to go away, and then you're going to be mad and you're going to feel more lack because you have grown to depend on external factors to feel good about yourself in life. If you could reach within and you could choose to feel good and you could choose to focus on good feeling thoughts for a long enough period of time, then you'd see really good things happening in your reality. I've been saying lately in my videos to my friends, oh gosh, we're coming up on 20 minutes. I'm going to try to wrap this up for you guys. I've been saying to my friends that good things happen in your life because you've been feeling good. People think that they feel good because good things happen, but it's the other way around. Good things happen because you feel good. And when you hold the vibrational state of goodness and well-being and success for even, like, it's really not that long, guys. It doesn't take that long. It's truly that 99% of people on the planet can't seem to figure out how to do that. And I don't mean it in a rude way because I couldn't either until I finally did. That's why I'm sharing this with you, because I'd like you to know that you have the tools within you to succeed in experiencing everything that you want to experience. Nobody else has those tools to give you. It's not possible. Not even me. I can't help you. All I can do is share what I've experienced, and maybe a handful of people watching this video, maybe all of you, or maybe just one person, or maybe no one. It's not my responsibility to decide how many or who feels this remembrance within them and says, oh my God, that makes sense. I've known this my entire life. I've always known this. I just kind of forgot that I knew it. That's all anybody can do for you, is help you remember what you already know. But you got to reach in yourself. So back to the premise that inspired this video. When you're thinking things that you feel you have no control over your mind, stop thinking things about what you're thinking. Just watch. Now, you might feel that that's very complicated, but I promise you, I swear to God. See this? Crossing my fingers. I swear to God. It's not. It's not hard to watch your thoughts. It's actually extremely easy to be a passive observer. All you do when these thoughts are happening is, instead of freaking out and feeling upset about them, just let them happen. And what you'll notice is that you might experience now that your thoughts, it's this negative momentum, it just keeps going. But now what you'll notice is you don't feel any type of way about it. You just feel neutral. You're like, okay, I don't care. Now understand that you hold that neutral vibration long enough, even for just, if you did that just one night, instead of freaking out and taking all your sleeping meds because your mind is raging and you're like, oh, I need to go to sleep, and you start drinking your beer, smoking the weed, or whatever it is, instead of reaching for things to silence your mind, what I'd like for you to choose to do, just try it tonight. You'll see the power. I know it. Watch. Instead, just watch. Feel neutral about it. You can lay awake all night watching your mind rampage. And if you don't feel any type of way about it and you just watch, you will see that you wake up the next day, you get up out of bed, and you will feel absolutely enlightened and blissed out. And you will notice that your mind will have stopped. All of a sudden, it's not spiraling anymore. Why? Because you've held the vibration from within long enough to manifest that on the surface level. Do you see how it's this chain of events that spirals? What you want to do, if you don't have to just switch immediately from thinking negative things to thinking really good things. All right? That's what we'd suggest everybody gets to the point of being able to do, is focus on good feeling thoughts, because then you attract really good feeling things. But for people who are spiraling or having a hard time and are thinking majority-wise negative things or hard things that they don't enjoy, the best thing to do is not to take such a huge leap, because it's kind of too far of a jump. What you want to do is just not feel anything about it. Basically, just stop caring that you're thinking negative things and just watch. Don't put a bunch of importance on it. And what will happen is, if you do that just for one day, and then 2 days, and then 3, all of a sudden, you will see that that momentum in your mind completely vanishes, does not exist anymore. Now it's like you're a blank slate. You'll feel very peaceful. And then what we would suggest to do is to start thinking about things that feel really good to you, like appreciation. This is one of the biggest ones I've realized in my life. Appreciating what is currently here in your reality, what is already here, focusing on things that make you feel good. Then you'll build a momentum where you're constantly nonstop thinking really, really good stuff. And you'll be feeling really, really good about everything that you're thinking about. And you'll maintain that for days, for weeks, for months. Your life will bloom and become better than you could possibly imagine it would become, because you are a powerful being. You are the powerful being. You are the creator of your entire experience. Literally. Literally. All you need to do is hold the vibration long enough to prove that to yourself. And that's what I'm trying to relate to you, is it doesn't take long. It really doesn't. It doesn't. Just try it and you'll see. So then what happens is, you've got such a good positive momentum going that negative things will not ever come into your mind again. Negative things will not manifest in your experience. Everything that happens, you will really experience it truly, that it is incredible, that everything is amazing, and that everything is happening for you. And then you'll start to attract, when you're in that state, really incredible success for yourself. You'll really start being in alignment with your power. And that's when you'll enter what I refer to as a state of absolute certainty with who you are. And you'll be being totally genuine and authentic. And there's an energy and a power that comes off of you. And it's like very attractive. Attractive and sexy is not the right way of putting it, because it makes it seem like, oh, I should achieve this state because then people will like me more and I'll get this mate. It's a different kind of sexiness and attraction. There's an energy about you when you do this. And like I said, it doesn't take long, where you are very in alignment with your power. When you are in alignment with source, when you are in alignment with that power, when you are focused on what you really came here to experience, and if you want to know what you came here to experience, it's simple. What makes you feel good? Duh. It's literally that simple. Does something feel good to you? That's because it's who you are. Does something feel bad to you? Then stop doing it, because that's clearly not who you actually are. That's why it feels bad. You see all these really awesome mechanics? Now, I've dabbled in this video with bringing in multiple concepts that I've been explaining and fleshing out in a lot of videos that you can check out in the Law of Attraction playlist I've got tagged below. And you can look at those titles and feel like what resonates with you the most. I've also got the key manifestation principles that I've really used to change my life and transform my entire situation. And those are tagged below too. And I'm excited about that. There's some really good stuff, guys. I've got lots more content on the way. So thank you so much. I do hope this helped you. Let me know if you've got any questions below. Much love.